Motorcycle accidents are terrifying experiences. You're hurt, and you need someone on your side who understands. Call the Advocates. They have over 20 years experience with accident cases and have recovered settlements for hundreds of other motorcyclists. They can handle the medical bills and deal with the insurance company so you can focus on recovering and getting back on your bike. The Advocates are my motorcycle attorneys.
You deserve clear, risk-free advice to help get you back on your feet. You deserve an advocate.
This is The Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find The Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Hey, the Monty program. How the heck are you? As always, we're presented by The Advocates, theadvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business. And, you know, every day it's terrible, but I probably, just as the kind of human being that I am, I see yesterday that there was a workplace construction accident in the great state of Utah. If you get hurt at work, I'm telling you, don't rely on your owners. Don't rely on your boss. Don't rely on your workman's comp insurance. And here's what I say to you. You have nothing to lose by relying on the Advocates because, listen, if you go to the Advocates and your workman's comp is all in line and they're taking care of you, great. They're going to tell you that because the Advocates only get paid if and when they win your case. So if the Advocates take your case, you're going to win. You know that for a fact. That's what they do. The Advocates are winners. Anyway, if you get hurt at work, the workman's comp experts are the Advocates at theadvocates.com. Make sure you tell them you heard about it on the Monty Show. By the way, it is true. You can chat with an injury attorney 24/7, 365. It won't cost you a dime at theadvocates.com. Love those guys. Thank you. I meant to say thank you for all of your donations to the Advocates on the road home in July. It's just so humbling to hear from the folks at the Advocates about all of the messages that you guys put in your Venmo donations. I had that conversation the other day. The hilarity that I'm just going to ask a favor in the future. Let's not use the word rectum in the. Maybe we need to.
Well, Marnie, I donated like $1 million. I can't use the word rectum. Come on. Maybe
we don't. Maybe we ethics. Who are you, Jim Harbaugh? It's a suggestion that when you Venmo somebody, you don't put the word rectum in the memo section.
Show up.
That happened. And I don't have pride or, humility of any kind. I apologized on your behalf. So,
and it sucks.
It does. It sucks. It does. The Chad Carter, speaking of the Advocates, did they have anything to say about my last comment? They oddly, when I brought your name up, they said, go Big Blue. I don't know why. I'm on.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that.
That's not how that went. In fact, Mountain Mama, you missed it yesterday. I did a radio show where I talked about you, Mike. I was a guest on a radio show in the Great Northeast, and I said yesterday, and apparently you were not here, unfortunately, when I said it. But the gentleman that I did this radio program with, all he wanted to talk about was Neil Brown needs fired and the Mountaineers. And I said, Mountain Mama's got you covered.
Hey,
so, it is what it is. Good morning, Mike Smith. Good morning, Real Pete Forte. Hello, San Diego State. The pro rata Jim Harbaugh deserves. The Buffalo Hunter says lying, cheating, and playing the victim.
Okay, first of all, if you're going to reference a drop, we need to get it right, okay? Your order here is incorrect.
Cheating, lying, and then playing the victim.
Okay, so get the order right, but great comment.
That is AI. I want to make that very clear. That is a deep fake of Jim Harbaugh.
Doesn't get any more red, white, and blue than that.
Yes. And real quick, I got quite a few. You hyenas now have taken to DMing me on TikTok. because
Twitter wasn't good enough, dude?
I think most people figured out I don't look at notifications or in DMs on Twitter. I just don't. And you guys were like, don't you dare read comments that are non-member comments. Not all non-member comments are equal. For instance, Tyler talking about cheeseburgers and the fact that he hates the Michigan Wolverine fan base so much. I mean,
this is a tasty burger.
And the cheeseburger was just the appetizer. Which, again, you guys, listen, these kids are going to starve.
Marty?
I didn't know that we bought them cheeseburgers, but we bought them cheeseburgers. And when I say we, I mean, it wasn't me, the proverbial we. I didn't rig those charges.
Doesn't make you feel responsible.
That's essentially Jim Harbaugh's defense. We have been talking about this, and yes, the Michigan fan base has been rabid in the comments section, telling us that we don't know what we're talking about, and you guys don't have sources. Trust me, bro. Okay. I think we've been pretty nails on Jim Harbaugh. And speaking of nails, he got nailed yesterday by the NCAA as the notice of allegations came out for the sign stealer guy. And now we get punishment of Jim Harbaugh for the COVID dark period recruiting violations that were just, hey, bro, these kids were hungry. They just happen to be football recruits. We didn't know that. We bought them cheeseburgers.
That's bullshit.
Turns out that's not what the NCAA says happened. And the paper receipts and the video receipts and the recruits and their fathers telling the NCAA that Jim Harbaugh, in fact, did meet with them. Jim Harbaugh met with these kids at a diner and met with them at the Michigan football facility. And then Jim Harbaugh lied about that and acted unethically. And the NCAA yesterday dropped the hammer by giving him a 4-year show cause order and essentially suspending him for 4 years. And I think it is just. I think it's exactly what should happen. But what does this mean? All of this for the sign stealing scandal. We're going to get to that in a minute. But the biggest question is, does this what amounts to a 4-year suspension of Jim Harbaugh? Because he gets a 1-year suspension, which means that Jim Harbaugh will not be allowed if he gets a college job. And I'm not saying he's getting a college job, but if Jim Harbaugh gets a college job, Harbaugh would be suspended for 100% of the first season of employment. This is significant. And then when you look at the whys of this, and Jake and I have talked about this regularly, this is directly from the notice of action from the NCAA by denying his conduct. This is the NCAA describing why they punished Jim Harbaugh. By denying his conduct, which was plainly supported by the record, Harbaugh violated NCAA ethical conduct legislation and thereby amplified the severity of his case. Harbaugh's underlying recruiting violations are level 2. However, unethical conduct, specifically the provision of false or misleading information, is presumptively a level 1 violation under NCAA bylaws. Institutional staff members have an obligation to cooperate, tell the truth, and further the mission of the membership's infraction process. Harbaugh failed to meet this obligation and thereby engaged in unethical conduct, a level 1 violation. He lied, and then he doubled down on his lie. And how do we know that? Well, because the NCAA tells us that. 3 analysts provided technical or tactical instruction of football student athletes during practices, and 7 analysts impermissibly participated in on-campus evaluations. The violations, this is critical. The violations in Harbaugh's program and his knowing and direct involvement in certain recruiting violations demonstrated that Harbaugh did not promote an atmosphere of compliance.
Where have you heard that before?
Nor did he monitor his staff, which Harbaugh acknowledged when he admitted he did not give enough attention to the analysts' activities. The head coach responsibility violation is level 2 because it derives from the underlying level 2 conduct. And read the first line of this paragraph. Harbaugh's conduct supports a bylaw 11 head coach responsibility violation, which is exactly what I told you happened. It does not matter if Jim Harbaugh knew or did not know. He's responsible. He admits that he did not monitor his analysts. He admits that he did not monitor his coaching staff, which is to say, it doesn't matter. He just got a 4-year suspension from the NCAA over his conduct during the COVID dark period. And I would remind you, Jim Harbaugh settled this case and agreed to a 6-game suspension. And the NCAA said, no, that's not good enough. Sorry, bud. Remember that, because Jim Harbaugh has claimed complete and total innocence in all of this. All of it. And when you recognize what they're accusing him of, and here it is plainly, you had recruits on campus during the COVID dark period recruiting window where you were not allowed to have in-person visits. You met with them at a diner where you specifically sat down at a table and spoke to them. Then on another occasion with another recruit, walked up to the table for 5 minutes and spoke with them, after which time one of your assistant coaches paid for breakfast. Then those recruits went back to the Michigan football facility, got a tour, and met with Jim Harbaugh in person. Now, how do we know this? Well, the least of the evidence is all of the receipts, including one, allegedly, where Jim Harbaugh sat down and had a meal, the cheeseburger meal, with the recruit and his dad. How else do we know this? Well, because now the assistant coaches are cooperating. How else do we know this? Yeah, the recruit and his dad, both recruits and their fathers, spoke to the NCAA Committee on Infractions and its investigators and said, yeah, here's what happened. We met with coach at the diner. We went back to the facility. They gave us a tour. Then we worked out on the field. And like the recruits told you, the assistants are telling you, and there's videotape evidence of those workouts. And yeah, there's hard receipts that show. So what did Jim Harbaugh do when he was presented with this information? I don't know anything about that. What? Wait, what? No. So the process allegedly went, hey, Jim, it's Dickhead with the Committee on Infractions. Heard, that you were at this diner and had breakfast with these kids and then took them back to the facility. What?
No.
That was during the COVID dark period, Dickhead. I would never do that.
Me?
Okay, great. All right, thanks, Jim. Hey, Jim, it's Dickhead with the Committee on Infractions. Oh, hey, Dickhead, how are you? Great. Hey, bud, it's come to our attention that you were at the diner and you actually sat down and had a cheeseburger with this recruit and his dad. And another time you actually walked up to the table for 5 minutes and spoke to the recruit. Oh, what? I would never do that. Well, I just got off the phone with the recruits and their fathers. They said you did. And I want you to, there's like paper receipts that were filed for expense reports, and they have your name as sitting at the table, and this cheeseburger was for you. Do you want to, let me just ask you again. Let's start over, Jimmy. Let's
just start from the beginning. We'll get a fresh start,
Hey, Jim, were you at that diner? I know you said previously you weren't, but I want to give you
What the fuck are you talking about?
Were you at that diner, Jimmy? No. I wasn't. Well, recruit number 2 says you were. Fuck that guy. Never heard of him. Don't know who the recruit number 2 is. I don't even know who that kid is. I've never met him. Well, Jimbo, here's a problem with that. Here's a text message of you that you sent to this recruit. Oh, yeah. Oh, that recruit. Oh, well, shit. Why didn't you say so, bud? Yeah, I remember him. Yeah. That kid, I placed a to-go order at Beto's, which is right next door, and I happened to walk through the diner, and I just saw this kid sitting. So they gave him not one opportunity, not 2 opportunities. They gave him 3 opportunities to tell the truth, and he wouldn't do it. And then he stopped cooperating altogether. Like, do you know the level of arrogance this dude has to operate at? And again, this is all publicly available. It is, and I'll even put this, if you guys want to go read this, it's very available. It is very available. I'm just going to copy the link right here into the comment section so you guys can go and read it, because I want you to be well aware that this is no longer up for question.
Yeah, you no longer can say that we're an Ohio State show or an SEC show or
Old Fat Mormon about to die.
Old Fat Mormon about to die show.
BYU fan, Utah fan, Big 12 fan, flyover conference fan, truck stop fan, liberal left-leaning California Pac-12 fan. We're all of it. The problem is that, this is not good for Jim Harbaugh. And the staff on July 20th, 2023, Michigan, the enforcement staff and 5 Michigan staff members submitted a negotiated resolution. Right? Harbaugh submitted his written response to the notice of allegations March 19th, 2024. Oh, so, just 10 months later than everybody else did. These responses addressed allegations 10 months later, so he didn't cooperate. In early 2021, multiple football prospects visited Michigan's campus. On these informal visits, according to recruiting director, Harbaugh urged him to, quote, get guys to campus. So wait, let me get this right. Hey, Jimmy, I know, is it true that you brought recruits to campus? I would never do that.
I was raised not to cheat and lie and break rules.
My father, I raised my family telling the truth. Well, Jim, we're kind of in an awkward spot here, Jimmy. And I just, I'm just going to be forthright with you, you fucking liar. I mean, I'm just going to be forthright with you. I just met, I have your,
don't lie to me.
I have your director of recruiting in the hot box next door. And he rolled on you. I gotta be honest. I've seen some guys give testimony, Jim. I've seen some guys cut deals to save their own ass.
You're so fucked.
This guy, I mean, Jimmy, do you know what raw dog means, Jim? So let me get this right. The director of recruiting at Michigan testified to the NCAA that Harbaugh, quote, urged him to, quote, get guys to campus. The recruiting director reported that the football staff had, quote, no process in place to alert athletic compliance staff when prospects were planning to visit. Hey, coach, I got Timmy Prepubes over here. He's a 4-star wide receiver. Should we let Ward Manuel know he's coming? No.
They texted.
No, we shouldn't. Well, there's a compliance policy. Listen, we don't comply. Can you spell that for me?
Are you out of your goddamn mind?
I'm Captain America. Compliance? I am compliance, sir.
I am the compliance.
Like just the way that he straight up raised a middle finger to the process.
And this is what I said yesterday.
It's amazing.
Dude, we haven't even gotten to the absolute buffoonery of his lawyer's statement yet on this. We're going to get to that in a minute. But from the onset of this whole situation, the moment that Jim became the head coach at Michigan.
When he started looking out for the hungry kids with their cheeseburgers.
Yeah, when he started saving everybody and all that crap.
Captain America.
Dude, from the onset, this guy operated with the sense of, hey, I'm Jim Harbaugh. I'm going to do whatever I want, however I want.
I'm Jim Harbaugh and you're not.
Yeah. Right? Thank you. That kind of behavior. I'm going to just do whatever I want. The NCAA doesn't matter. And if compliance comes down on me, I'll already be in the NFL. So on some level, I have to say, hey, Jim, kudos to you. I've never seen anybody operate with this level of I just simply don't care. Like,
listen,
bro,
the kids. It's about the kids. This is, you guys, we make men here.
That'd be America's team.
To make men, we've got to feed them cheeseburgers because that's
just a stalwartness.
Have you ever seen a kid run a route after he has a cheeseburgers at Dickie's Diner?
Bo Dix is playing well.
I mean, you can't believe how much tighter that spiral is when they eat those the lettuce. Are you out of your mind? They gave you not one, not two, but 3 opportunities to say, yeah,
bruh,
I did it. Okay, cool, coach. Can you put your hand out like this? Okay, all right, cool. Have a good season. Because that's what would have happened.
Seriously.
That's what would have happened.
And I feel like we always wind up talking about this. If these dudes would just say, yeah, you know what? I'm Jagoff here. I did this. Come down on me. Don't come down on Sharon. Don't come down on Vacuum Salesman of America. Don't come down on the biggest fake franchise draft pick, JJ McCarthy. Like, don't come down on any of those dudes. Just come down on me. I'll take the punishment and we'll move on.
Let me take it.
Yeah.
I can handle it. I can bear the burden.
Doesn't get any more red, white, and blue than that.
So, Jim, this prospect number 2 that you don't know, did and I know you don't know him and you've never met with him, but did you happen to meet with him at a diner?
Who the fuck is that guy?
No. Well, the problem with that is, see, prospect number 2 and his dad say that the following morning, you and your recruiting director, the guy we have in the sweat box next door who's just absolutely going ham. And he also said he had ham at the diner, but that's a different kind of ham. Met with you and the recruit at a local diner in an interview with the institution and the enforcement staff. The prospect number 2, this kid who you don't know that you said you do know, now you don't, stated he and his father had pretty much a one-on-one breakfast with Coach Harbaugh.
Here I am.
I don't know who he is.
And I just like to point out, anytime we're reading documentation from a disciplinary committee that is referencing a human being as prospect number 2, you're in deep crap, dude.
Jim, he remembers that you liked powdered sugar on your French toast. Where they discuss prospect number 2's future and potentially playing football at Michigan. During the recruiting director's interview with the institution and enforcement staff, he did not specifically recall prospect number 2's visit, but he did remember being present at a breakfast with Harbaugh and a prospect at the diner. Now, listen, I'm not going to say that it was JJ McCarthy that we had breakfast with because, free Harbaugh and shit. But I do remember this one time.
You see, I'm a guy of simple taste.
Look, this kid was hungry and cold, and he wanted bacon. And who am I to say no? Did you know he was a football player? Well, I mean, yeah.
And, pardon me.
I didn't fully know who he was.
The recruiting director provided an expense report and receipt showing he paid for breakfast at the diner on February 28th, 2021, and the order included a bacon cheeseburger.
My guy.
This mirrored prospect number 2 and his father. Now, listen, son, do you remember what did Coach Harbaugh have for breakfast that day? Well, oddly enough, sir, he had a bacon cheeseburger.
Juicy.
This mirrored prospect number 2 in his dad's account on the date and time of the meal and the type of food eaten by Harbaugh. Specifically, prospect number 2 recalled that Harbaugh ordered a hamburger for breakfast, which kind of stood out to him. But I got to tell you, I'm not a meat eater in the morning, but that Jim Harbaugh, have you ever seen him pound a burger in the morning? I knew right then I was going to Ohio State. They the kid and his dad remembered that Jim Harbaugh ordered a hamburger. So wait a minute. I thought hamburgers and cheeseburgers were just for these hungry kids who were cold, so we brought them in and bought them a meal.
Servicing the community,
we
sir.
were just trying to make sure that these kids were well nourished. The kid remember. So Jim, I just got to ask you again.
And I know this is like the third time,
but I want you to know your director of recruiting's in the next room. Do you know what
medieval on your ass?
Do you know what a rectum is, Jim? Because he's going to Pound Town on you. So I'll just ask, do you remember breakfast and how was that hamburger? I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if
but
I don't
Jim,
know quite. I don't quite know how to answer
but
that,
Jim, here's the expense report with your name on it, and it says you had a hamburger with the recruit.
That's the untrained eye.
And he still denied it.
Which is just incredible. Bro.
And he denied it. You know why he denied it? Because when you don't have a compliance process, you just submit receipts that are evidence in writing of recruiting violations that include your head coach, who then denies it because he doesn't know about the compliance process.
Stop saying that we just hate Michigan or that somehow, and again, I know this has nothing to do, this punishment
oh my God,
has nothing to do with the sign stealing thing. Stallion, a complete, cold-blooded breakdown of the COVID recruiting dark period violations. Don't tell me that you really believe Jim wouldn't do this stuff.
And so again, here's where I ask, what do you think this means for Jim Harbaugh? Because then there's this little thing right here. And Jimmy, I know that you're the coach at Michigan, or you were before you absolutely savaged them by coming here to the NFL where
pack this thing up, we're out of here.
You work for a team that should be in San Diego, but they're in Los Angeles, but they're paying you $80 million. And the funny thing is, Jimmy, I saw that statement from your attorney on the old X machine there, where he said that if he were you, he'd take the $80 million contract and pay no attention to that, quote, kangaroo court, which claims to represent the principles of the nation's most flagrant repeat violator of federal antitrust laws. See, here's a problem, Jim. Here at the NFL, we have a precedent. You remember that? Have you ever heard? I know you haven't heard of Prospect 2, but have you heard of Ohio State University? You ever heard of that little school down there in Columbus?
We beat the hell out of them every year. They're nobody.
Well, unless you take the sign stealing thing, but we're not here to talk about that. That's later when we suspend you a second time. But do you remember they had a little coach named Jim Tressel, and there were some tattoos and
whatever.
You remember when Jim Irsay, that crazy son of a bitch, Jim really well, right, Jim? Because you're Captain America and shit, and you played for him with the Colts. Do you remember when he hired Jim Irsay after Jim got essentially the same punishment you just got from the NCAA? Do you remember what the Colts did there? Oh, that's right. They suspended Jim Tressel for 6 weeks at the behest of the NFL. And Terrell Pryor was taken in the supplemental draft that same year by the Oakland Raiders. And do you remember that they suspended him for 5 weeks?
Oh.
Why did they suspend? They couldn't, because they had taken punishment from the NCAA and then essentially ran to the NFL to get away from that punishment. But see, here at the NFL, where we have no morals and, we wreck people's brains.
And we circumcise skeeters.
Right. We do care about integrity. Which is why I'm kind of surprised.
At least publicly.
Which is why I'm kind of surprised you work here, Jim. But anyway, the point is, Jim Tressel and Terrell Pryor left Ohio State amidst scandal. And when they left Ohio State, they immediately went to the NFL. Jim Tressel was suspended for the first 6 weeks of the season. Terrell Pryor for the first 5 weeks of the season. Should the NFL take action against Jim Harbaugh?
100%.
Do you think they should?
This is a flagrant. Like, this is more flagrant than the Tressel situation. Like, this is Jim openly and without any fear or hesitation saying, yeah, I basically just lit Michigan on fire and did all this stuff I'm not supposed to do. And I look like, reckless, irresponsible, lacking morals, just all like no respect for the process or any of my colleagues or anybody else who also plays football in the NCAA, and the fact that they are abiding by the rules. Like, no respect for any of that. So I'm just going to go in. I'm going to cheat my way to a national championship. And that starts by recruiting kids when I'm not supposed to recruit them in the COVID dark period. And then when I get caught, because I know I'm going to get caught, then I'm going to go to the league. I'm going to get paid. I'm going to coach the Chargers for, let's be generous and say 5 years. I think it'll be less, but let's say 5 years. And I'm not going to look back. And then when the punishment comes out, I'm going to have my wannabe pitbull of an attorney put out an absolutely dumb statement.
I think this is a huge mistake.
Like being super brash, super in your face, super arrogant.
And this attorney, Tom Mars, is spectacular. Like, he has handled massive cases. He is a really good lawyer. This right here is stupid lawyering. This feels like Jim Harbaugh said, take him to the woodshed. If I had an $80 million contract as a head coach of the Chargers, you're begging the NFL to punish you. And I think the NFL will act with the way that they handled Ohio State and Jim Tressel and Terrell Pryor. My guess is that they will act.
Well, and the NFL is not going to have their league be seen as an escape hatch for college coaches or players, for that matter, who decided that they didn't want to follow the governing body. That's not going to work.
That's wild to me. Did I mention that this has nothing to do with sign stealing? This is all of this punishment, a 4-year suspension, show cause orders, all of this. This is all about Jim Harbaugh lying to the NCAA Committee on Infractions in the face of overwhelming evidence, lying to the NCAA.
And I just can't get past the fact that they showed him the evidence and he still lied. Like, you would think that, like, I could almost understand. Okay, hey, like, I'm running from this. I don't know what they have. I'm going to deny it. I'm going to play denial. I'm going to run.
Lying,
cheating,
lying, and then playing the victim.
That's the playbook. But once you sat down at that table and they showed you the evidence and they flopped it out on you, and you knew that you were effed and you were going to have to go to the league probably sooner than you wanted to, at that point, I would have thought that the decision would have shifted from,
cheating, lying, and then playing the victim
to, hey, yeah, you know what? I did do that, and it just is what it is. But no, he doesn't do that. And that's what's incredible about this guy. And that's why I don't put it past him for the sign stealing stuff, any of the recruiting stuff. Like, this is who Jim is, man. Like, when are you guys going to get on board that this is who this guy is?
And the worst part is when you say to him, hey, do you know who Prospect 2 is? And they didn't say Prospect 2. They said, Jimmy No Pubes. Do you know who this is?
Yeah.
This is your 4-star wide receiver recruit or whatever the kid actually was. Nope, never heard of him. Don't know what you're talking about. Well, how about this text message you sent him then? Like, this is it's not even defensible anymore. This is the text message that Jim Harbaugh sent to the recruit that he denied knowledge of. Later admitted he knew him, but denied knowledge of it. Attacked today with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind.
Where have we heard this before?
Talk soon and go blue. Hope you enjoyed your trip to Ann Arbor. That never happened because I said so.
So hold on. In the press, do we still have that? The press availability from the other day. Where did we hear the line of attack today with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind?
Yeah, I do have a comment on that. Never lie, never cheat, never steal.
What?
Wait a minute. That I need to play the rest of it. But the fact that this motherfucker has the balls to come out here and be like, you never lie, you never cheat, you never, ever, ever lie, unless you get caught and then you deny
and
everything.
I just want to point out, when he said this in this press availability, he knows all of this that we've come to know today.
Already is aware of this is happening. You never lie, you never cheat, and you never steal.
Yeah, I do have a comment on that. Never lie, never cheat, never steal. Yeah, I do have a comment on that. Never lie, never cheat, never steal.
That's who we are.
Raised with that lesson.
That's my dad.
I have raised my family on that lesson. I have preached that lesson to the teams that I've coached. No one's perfect. If you stumble, you apologize, and you make it right.
Unless you're Jim Harbaugh.
Today, I do not apologize.
See?
I did not participate, was not aware, nor complicit in those said allegations. So for me, it's back to work and attacking with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind.
What kind of fucking asshole is this guy? And again, Michigan fan in the comments section, I just ask you directly, how do you believe a word coming out of this guy's mouth when he has repeated, I did nothing wrong, I'm Captain America?
I love the assertion. He goes, I have no knowledge. I'm not complicit. I never participated in. And therefore, because I don't know anything about it, allegedly, I'm just moving on forward. As if that's how the world works.
The only problem with that, Harbaugh's conduct supports a bylaw 11 head coach responsibility violation.
But wait, Jim, I thought you didn't know anything about it, bro.
Recruit 2.
They have your text messages,
Recruit 2, where you say attack today with an enthusiasm unknown to man.
So this is my question for Michigan fan.
Oh my God.
This dude stands up here and does this media availability and rolls out that same verbiage. I'm telling you, he enjoys this. I believe he does. You that he goes out of his way to be an asshole about it. He enjoys sticking it to the NCAA.
All right, let's get to you guys in the comments section. I've had my fun. I'm always right, and I'm better looking than you. We totally get it. Your wife wants to hit this. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm moving on. I had no knowledge of her activities. Okay. In the comment,
had sexual relations.
You have to use your thumb. You have to curl this. Use your thumb. Never, ever, even if there's a fire, did I get filleted by Monica. Where do you guys come down on this? Let me ask you a couple of questions directly in the comments section. Should the NFL suspend Jim Harbaugh? Because now I don't think there's any way to deny he took the trestle route. He evacuated Michigan. He fled Michigan to the NFL to avoid punishment. Should the NFL punish Jim Harbaugh? And do you believe, based on what we've now seen from the NCAA, do you believe he took part in the cheating scandal, the sign stealing? Because I 100% do.
Marty, he was a lone wolf.
I 100%
sign
believe
stealer guy.
I am amazed by it. Let's see. Mike Smith. I don't know who you're talking about. Evidence pops up to the contrary. Jimmy, learning from Donnie.
Okay. Mike, dude, I am not gonna bring
we don't talk politics on this show.
We stick to sports. We don't do quote bullshit politics or any of that stuff on this show anymore. So, great comment. Kudos to you. Great comment.
But isn't that there's, as much as we joke, that's who we are as a country now.
Yeah. How long have you been saying it?
I don't like the rules, so they don't apply to me. Hey, Jim, the rules do apply to you. No, they don't. I'm going to go get my $80 million contract should be playing in San Diego, the Chargers.
Get out of my way, dude.
And I'm going to bail on Michigan. And then Michigan fans will beg me to stay, and I'll still leave. Michigan University will then offer me the largest contract in the history of college football, and I'll ask them to put a provision in there that says, well, when we get slapped by the NCAA, I get my full compensation.
Yeah, you guys remember that? He wanted immunity.
And then when they give it to me, I'm still going to go and coach for $80 million with the should be in San Diego Chargers.
Yeah.
That's essentially how this went down, in my opinion. Coconut Dreams, 1, 2, 3.
Okay. I've never heard of you. This is yet another opportunity on the show for a commenter who's not here regularly to make a difference.
And not a member of the program.
Yeah,
remember,
so you're taking your life in your hands here, Marty.
Remember,
reading non-member comments.
Marty, God damn it. You should hit the join button. $2 a month. We'll read every one of your comments. Only half of your comment. We'll read half of every one of your comments. Thanks for bringing the truth, the Monty Show. Colin Cowherd is calling this a witch hunt, which is utterly vile, poisonous, deceitful attempt to spin doctor the cheating and attempted cover-up. I don't know how it's a witch hunt when I don't believe, based on what I saw from the NCAA, that the conduct's even in question anymore.
Yeah, the track record of evidence is clear.
Yeah. Welcome to the nightmare. The NFL definitely should take action. Way worse. The 4-year show caused by the NCAA seems very light. This isn't for the cheating scandal.
Yeah.
This is just for providing cheeseburgers to hungry kids.
And really, I think you're right. I think the punishment would have been much lighter than this if Jim had just cooperated. But because he fought so much,
this would be over.
Like they had to prove a point here.
Jim Harbaugh would have taken a recruiting restriction. He would not. This would have been a slap on the wrist. Hey, Jimmy, you can't leave campus to recruit for 6 months. That's all this would have been. And the NCAA has as much said so. It's just that your flagrant conduct made it a level 1 violation. That's a 4-year show cause order. So what's going to happen when we get the sign stealing evidence? Because you guys, we all know how this is going. If you think they rolled on him and for the cheeseburgers for hungry kids scam, what do you think they rolled on him for on the sign stealing thing?
Well, and I think with the sign stealing thing, the fact that he's gone to the NFL, people who would have protected him have no reason to protect him now.
Sharon Moore rolled. He gave his text messages. He's cooperating with the investigation.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it will be a 10-year show cause period for Jim Harbaugh. And that is, Mike Smith, never lie, never cheat, never steal. And remember, kids, take your vitamins. Captain America out. Right? Bailey Dietrich. Will this be a new soundbite, Monty? It should be.
Yeah.
It absolutely should be.
Okay, again. See.
You're see, do I read this comment? You're dressed up in a bunny suit, sir. I'm not judging people.
Well, Marty, I went to the bunny convention when the Harbaugh stuff came down, and now I got to go hopping into your comment section. See what I did there?
Bro, you want to get your freak on? You do you. You do you. Oh, God. And O.J. Simpson's in the comment.
Oh, dear.
Harbaugh is like O.J. Simpson saying the late O.J. Simpson. If hell's real, O.J. Simpson. Saying he would never wear those, quote, ugly-ass Bruno Mali shoes, and then being shown the pictures of him wearing them and then lying again. Listen, that's a deep fake. Okay? I would never look at those ugly-ass shoes.
I have no idea what that was.
Are you kidding me? And then you hand him a shrunk glove because all the blood that was on the glove from when he, did what he allegedly said.
Oh, what a loser.
And the glove didn't fit and he went free. Okay. Jeremy Severe. Hello. Jim sounds like Bill Clinton.
See?
I did not have sexual relations. And I love the defenders of Bill Clinton who are like, oh, she is.
Oh, what a tramp, man.
Bill Clinton can get a much better looking woman than her.
I want you to listen to me.
Well, it turns out if the mouth fits, you must not acquit.
I'm going to say this again.
What do you mean that blowy is sexual relations? Well, why didn't you tell me that?
Like, for instance.
What? I know. I thought you meant like, like that's, come on, guy. You know what sex, come on, man.
That's every day.
Who hasn't had a little instead of, and she's not attractive. He would never, oh, he did do, what, a dress? What do you mean a DNA? What?
It's internal.
A dress? Yeah, I thought you meant internal. I was never into, well, her, now, what do you mean? When I mean internal, I don't mean, let's move on. Tyler. I freely admit I'm a terrible person. Blatantly ignorant to everything that's going on. I didn't know.
See, I'm telling you, dude, with Tyler, bro, he plays like he's ignorant, but he's not. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Eric and Charlotte. Jim Harbaugh? Who? Not Jim Harbaugh. Who's got it better than us? Everybody. It's wild to me. Yes, suspend him. Yes, suspend them. It's 100% certainty. Taylor Smith, Monty is a wonder of the world.
That's right.
I thought I was the world. And okay.
Oh, who are you, Jim Harbaugh?
What? Oh God, look at the, okay. Speaking of getting your freak on. Now listen.
Okay.
The other guy wore a bunny suit, and I thought that was a freak show. Whatever this avatar is. Did you ask Lloyd Carr permission to use his image in your avatar? Could be a copyright infringement. Nobody will ever take Michigan or their fans seriously after this. The deflecting and lying, even to themselves, is rough. It's rough. Ryan Day's beard. Oh, Ryan. Can I comb the cheese curd out of your beard? Oh. Who are you, Preston Stone? Okay. Kim Coulter, 100% he cheated. I would agree with that. Damian Fowler, hello. Duran, hungry like lone wolf. Get it? Like hungry like the wolf.
Yeah, it's
hungry
like the song, but it's like the lone wolf angle with Sign Stealer guy.
We were playing, Mrs. Marty and I were playing our Friday night round of golf last week, and she tends to be she's on the ones and twos during our round of golf, so she picks the music, and Hungry like the Wolf played. So nice Aaron sound drop. Exactly. I miss the mailman.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Coconut Dreams.
Wow. The join button does work. Wow.
Good job. I love coconut.
Yeah, good job, dude.
Eric in
Charlotte.
Durham. Eric in Durham. Rules for thee, not for me. Exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. I hope you're dry. The Carolinas in this storm. My God. Sharice Armstead. Hello. It's pathetic that Jim Harbaugh took part in the cheating, but he denied doing anything wrong. Again, listen, I don't know who E. Jean Carroll is, and I would never have sex with her. Oh, God.
Cashless.
And it's so funny that Donnie and Jimmy both are using the lone wolf. Look, Michael Cohen was a lone wolf. He acted on his own. He paid her off on his own.
So I said, yeah.
I would never, ever. That would be election fraud. What? Okay. People are now pissed. Eric in Chapel Hill. It's not a witch hunt when there are witches everywhere you look. You know what I'm saying? Damian Fowler. Uh-oh. We got the Nevada Buck crew in here. The Nevada Buck crew? Who that? Nevada? Oh, God. No.
Dude.
Bro? No. The answer's I said, yeah. Today's the day, Buckeye fan. Listen.
So I said, yeah.
If you're going to feel good about it, because the season's about to start, and I have that trip to Autzon's probably not going to go well.
Stay on.
I still cannot believe that he went after K-State like that. That Will Howard after K-State.
Will Howard don't care, bro.
Will Howard's our guy. He's been on the show, of course, so he's good. UW fan Jim, what does the show cause do? What a show cause order does is, let's say Ohio State, after they come to their senses and fire Ryan Day. The Ohio State comes to their senses and fires Ryan Day. They want to hire Jim Harbaugh. I can't say it with a straight face. Let's say some unscrupulous university wants to hire a disgraced coach like Jim Harbaugh.
Bishop Sycamore.
Thank you. Wants to hire Jim Harbaugh. And there's a show cause order on Jim Harbaugh. They have to show cause that he is the only guy that is qualified for that job. He's the guy, we have to have him because we're going to steal signs. And clearly, nobody does it better than Captain America.
That's pretty much self-explanatory.
They have to show cause to hire him.
Yeah.
And it's impossible to do it.
And then, let's say someone did show cause and they did hire him. Even then, he would then still miss the first year of his employment under the punishments put down.
And it's pretty remarkable. It's a 4-year suspension.
Yeah.
And if you hire him, the first year he's your head coach, he's suspended for the year.
And they were very specific. And I feel like I really appreciate this out of the NCAA because during his suspension earlier in the year, they allowed him to be in the building. They said, or around the team rather, hey, you can coach the team all week, yada, yada, yada. You can be around the team.
You can be around the team on game day. And then once kickoff happens, you have to leave the stadium.
So not really suspended. But in the punishment they put down, they very clearly say, hey, you can't be at the facility, you can't be involved with the team. None of that.
The results of these contests during Harbaugh's suspension would not count towards his career coaching record. Another big. So it's a significant, a show cause order it's really different. It's really difficult to get around a show cause order. You don't see it almost
but again,
ever.
He's never going to come back. He's never coming back to college football.
I don't think that he would. My
shocked.
guess is if it didn't work out with the Chargers, he'd go probably work for his brother or he'd retire. I mean, he's getting $80 million.
Yeah.
At some point. I think the hard part for guys like Jim Harbaugh is nobody ever says no to guys like that. Nobody ever says no to Nick Saban. Nobody ever says no to Jim Harbaugh. And then you get caught red-handed and all of that goes out the window.
Yeah.
All of it. And I think he probably saved Michigan some pain by leaving, but he is not going to get off scot-free. I think the NFL will take action against him. I do.
Yeah.
I do. Coconut Dreams. Hi, guys. I just found your show about a week ago. Anyway, I'm here for the truth, no matter what it is, and I appreciate your honesty. Anyway, I'm joined now. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Welcome.
Go Bucks. Finger red number 1. Okay. Do you win at Autzen? I think it's one of the games of the year, but without question.
Yeah.
Do you beat Oregon in Eugene? Can you imagine the party in Columbus? I can't even imagine what that would do. I cannot even imagine it. That would be Taylor Smith. Marty, why so many YouTube ads? Oh my God, I can't.
Bro,
Are you guys, everybody's complaining about this. I want to apologize. I have no control over it. We are obviously we're 109,000 subscribers or whatever it is at this point. The channel has grown significantly, and
YouTube's doing YouTube.
We're at 111,594 subscribers. And here's how it works. If you don't know this, we are a channel that monetizes. And what that means is that the more people that watch the channel, the more people that subscribe to the channel, YouTube is going to say, hey, that's a good piece of content. So they only get paid when they show ads. That's it. That's the way Google works. Google owns YouTube. So what they do is when you have I'm not even being arrogant about it. When you have a high leverage piece of content,
when people watch for a long time, you get a lot of comments, people are interacting with it.
And the average view duration on most YouTube content is less than 2 minutes. On our live show, we average 24 minutes. So yeah, having said that, please hit the like button. That really helps the channel grow.
And you'll notice the ads are catered to what you typically watch on your YouTube account.
Yeah, and the way around that is subscribe to YouTube Premium. It is well worth it. You'll never see another ad. Eric in Winston-Salem.
Right. Yeah, witch hunt.
Mike Smith, guys, Ferris is a troll. Just block him. Oh, is Ferris in the comment section?
We don't block people, bro.
We don't block people.
We don't block people.
If you get filtered on this channel, that's the YouTube algorithm not liking something you said. So, Tressel was fired. It doesn't matter. What he was found responsible. He was punished by the NCAA. He was given a show cause order, so he went to the NFL. The NFL said,
hey, we're not your backup plan.
Yeah. Yep. How does it feel to be right, Monty? Better than it feels to be good looking, let me tell you that. First with Jimmy and then with Lauri.
Oh, yeah. Let's make sure we get that right.
Dude, coming up in 5 minutes, the Jazz story I'm going to tell you is wild. You are rolling. You are the Deltas ruining the parade. Thank you.
Look, we're not trying to ruin anyone's day, bro.
Hey. Do you know what that reference is to?
No. I have no idea, dude.
Animal House. And I'm here for it. Scoop family equals Nevada Buck crew. Let's go. I like it. Glass City Buck. Good to see all the Ohio State fans. Monty, stop trying to give me a stroke.
But
I'm serious.
Stroking guys.
Do you go to Autzen Stadium and win? I think it is truly, because I don't think there's any doubt that the game is at the shoe this year. You're going to win the game.
Yeah.
But do you go to Autzen and win? I think it's an incredibly difficult environment. We all know that place is going to be bananas. I was looking at ticket prices for that game because I'm seriously considering going to that game. I really want to go. And it's outrageous. It is going to be packed. It's going to be really difficult to go into that environment and beat a team that nobody's going to be as talented as the is, but
it's a game we all deserve as college football fans.
It absolutely is.
Dude, it's a regular season game of two teams that, based on the preseason poll and based on what we know about them, are absolutely positively national championship contending teams, not college football playoff teams, national championship caliber football teams.
Yes. But Glass City Buck, you're not wrong. Here it is. This is the knock.
And it's a great question, bro. It's a great
question.
This
is the knock on Dan Lanning.
Your
boy.
Yeah. Hey, listen, last year when the Colorado, Oregon nonsense was happening, I wasn't a big Dan Lanning guy. I like what Deion's doing in Colorado. I do think, and we haven't had the chance to talk about it. It
guns
flew under
in the
radar, guns in the locker room, all that nonsense. That's definitely something we need to talk about at some point. But as the season progressed and Dan Lanning and those guys continue to win games and continue to show up, I respect Dan Lanning. I do. But I agree with you, bro. He needs to show that he can win the big game. And I absolutely agree that the last probably 8 minutes of that fourth quarter at Autzen against Washington was not good.
So true. So true, Mountain Mama.
Yeah.
Thank God Penix is gone. We can win some games now, boy.
Ask you this, though. Seriously, can Will Howard make the same throws that Penix made?
I think he can.
Because
I'm a huge Will Howard fan. I think you guys know that if you watch the show. I think it was the move of the portal. And then you double down and I think it's, you should wear green. Ducks fans can be nasty. Ask BYU fans. Mike Smith, I haven't heard rumors that the sweater vest was fired, but do not know if that was true or not.
First of all,
I never said he wasn't fired. I don't believe we ever said on the show he quit.
We're not talking about Neil Brown, dude. Come on.
It doesn't matter if Jim Tressel was fired or not. He left and went to the NFL. It's not like he tried to, or who cares? Who cares? Guys. Boyd Lake, good morning. I just heard some news from BYU football camp. Guys are flying around, unless your name's LJ Martin.
Yeah.
One, congratulations, Jerry Bohannon, for being healthy. I'm happy for him. If Jake Retzloff does not win that job, I would be stunned. BYU needs Retzloff to win that job. Will Howard is Monty's new No, Jeremy, you shut your mouth, boy. There is nobody. Well, Devin Booker. Justin Herbert,
Stay hard.
Devin Booker pulling gymnasts. I really hope he went on her uneven bars and just did a triple Lindy.
Yeah, hopefully she rode his pommel horse, you know?
I mean, honest to God, if they did the floor exercise together, I think.
Well, their execution score was quite high, Monty, let me tell you.
From what I understand, she's amazing on the beam. So, did you see him?
Suni.
I'm here for it. That
would be the absolute. I'm so burned out on T Swift and Travis Kelce crap that I'm ready for another power couple to emerge.
Devin Booker and Suni Lee. Bro, just put posters on my ceiling.
Yeah.
Like, I'm here.
We're
I'm
good,
ready.
Dude.
I am ready. But Justin Herbert, that's my dude. And I hate Oregon with a passion.
See, and this is the problem. I want the Chargers to be good. I want Herbert to do well. But I have a hard time saying that now because of the guy coaching the team.
Stay hard.
Like,
yeah. I'm just saying, all I want is Jim Harbaugh to disappear into the background for a while.
And he never will.
I don't think he will either. Having covered him in San Francisco, I'm telling you, it'll be interesting. It will be interesting. Speaking of hard, James, stadium guy and lover of Preston Stone's phallic member.
Cock.
Oh, Big 12. My bad. Do you call it the Big 12?
Macaque.
Dude.
So for those of you new to the show, Oak State James is his name. He is a pastor, legitimately, who's doing are you writing a thesis or a paper on pedo members of the clergy?
The ink isn't dry yet.
And he has professed his absolute fatal attraction to SMU quarterback Preston Stone.
Daddy!
And his desire to be in the same room with Alan Bowman and Preston Stone at the same time with the lights off.
Oh my God, just like
that. Oh. James, that stuff's not going to be in the book, though, right? I just want to. I just need some clarity.
No, they're of age. He's not a fan of Penn State.
Listen,
he's of age.
Dude, just make sure there's no receipts at the after room, dinner. Okay.
Okay. Oh, Christopher Shannon, stop it. James, I'll come back to you. Christopher Shannon, stop it. Do you think I don't see the double entendre? Are you out of your goddamn mind? Preston Stone's a baller. Yeah, just ask those state James. No matter how much you two clown James. Truth. I should grow up. The Michigan defenders do not understand how good Will Howard is. Ohio State is going to pound.
See, again, we try to give you a break, and then you use words like pound, and it just,
Pound Michigan into the ground. Think Hulk throwing Loki around and then calling him a puny god. Shouldn't God be capitalized? Like anytime
James,
you
why does it not surprise me that you're a big Avengers guy? Why does that not surprise me? That's an Avengers poll right there.
I don't watch cartoons.
You actually should. The Infinity game was good, dude.
Bro, have you seen Lord of the Rings yet? Let me tell you something. When you get Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter's on the East Australian pipeline,
bruh,
there's the magic happens there. And it's not, what would I compare it to? Like nocturnal release. It's one of those things where it's glorious and then you got to clean it up. That's what Harry Potter on the East Australian Pipeline is.
It's a big quill!
And, you know, like when you look at, I can't think of what's the weird, when you know, and then when they get to the end of the East Australian Pipeline and Schmiegel's there, like we just, it all comes together like Oak State Jamestown, you know.
I'm so bricked up right
now. Ollie
Yeah,
Gordon.
notice, haven't heard anything out of the Ollie Gordon going to, correctional classes camp lately. What's going on with that? Where's the, hey, he's training and running stairs to get 70 carries a game?
Hour number 2 of the Monty Show presented by our good friends at Prize Picks. PrizePicks.com. Download the Prize Picks app. It is the best daily fantasy app in the business. And you guys,
unless you need Noah Lyles to run fast, other than that, like, it's fine. It's fine.
So let me get this right. I cashed yesterday on 2 plays. Had Noah Lyles run better than 19.82 in the 200-meter semis, I'd have won $180. I think it was 180. Noah Lyles pulled up at the end and ran a 20.12. Bro,
cashless.
You're not out here looking out for
Marty?
For Marty? Are you kidding me? Anyway, Prize Picks right now has the best new account promotion I have ever seen. You open up a new account with prizepicks.com, use the promo code Monty, M-O-N-T-Y, Monty, and it gives you a $50 matching deposit. So you deposit $5, they'll give you 50 more. It's the single best promotion I've ever seen. You open a new account in the Prize Picks app, deposit $5, they'll give you $50 more. You can play for 2 months on that. You will be playing daily fantasy with Ohio State and Michigan for months. And college football in Prize Picks is phenomenal. It is absolutely fantastic. I kid you not. I have been playing daily fantasy for years. This is the single best new account promotion I've ever seen. You deposit $5, they'll give you 50 more. It's outrageous. Use the promo code Monty, M-O-N-T-Y, Monty, and join the tens of millions of us that are out there playing daily fantasy at Prize Picks. It is fantastic. I love it. Do it now. DM me. Tweet at me. Show me your Prize Picks. Today's a big one for me. I have now, and I'll even give you the formula to win at Prize Picks. We only flex play. They have a flex play system where here's how you do it. Pick 3 guys. And the way Prize Picks works is you pick 3. So today I have LeBron James and Steph Curry, 22.5 points. I took more. So if Steph Curry and LeBron James combine to score 23 points, I win. Only problem is Ellie De La Cruz needed 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. He got 0. Only problem is Bryce Harper needed 2 hits, runs, or RBIs. He got 0. Thankfully, I do have a second play with Kyle Schwarber last night. I'm not going to win this. What was I thinking? Bam Adebayo to have 12 rebounds or more. That's probably not going to happen against Serbia. USA and Serbia today. So get ready for that. It is, it'll be interesting.
Got to take Kyle Schwarber to have 1 home run tonight.
Well, he hit 3 yesterday. They're going to pitch around him. So
well, the series is over. The series is over. They're going to Arizona. And
I'd be careful with that.
Yeah. It's a demon.
Yeah. Prize Picks has a great deal going on right now. 50% off of Preston's Stones.
I mean, what are we supposed to do with that, dude?
It's his balls. All right. Were you done? Like, what do you?
Yeah, I'm gonna retread Noah Lyles today in the final.
You're an idiot.
12:30, less than 19.5.
Dude, that's possible. Do I fall for Noah Lyles again?
I'm going to take the bronze Steph Curry discount, obviously.
You have to.
And then I'm going to take Schwartz to hit a dinger tonight in Arizona on a demon. $20 to win 120.
Always play the flex play. 3 picks, $5 up to $25 is the most I would play in a flex. That's where I would point you to go.
Started with $100 in the account, up to $420 now.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy.
I was looking at my winnings. I've won over $2,000, $2,260.
Yeah.
I do pretty well. I'm going to take LeBron and Curry more than 23. Man, if Noah Lyles lets me down,
I would be. This is the final. He's not going to run soft in the final. You know what I mean? Like in the semi, if he's ahead, he can let up because he's.
So you're going to go under 19.57.
Yeah. I think he's looking to prove a point.
Damn it! Why do I go with you on this? I should not go with you on it. I just shouldn't do it. I just should not do it. And then I think if you go, there is a really good Victor Wembanyama Call of Duty play today. Victor Wembanyama and Maka. Who the fuck is that guy? 32.5 map 1 kills and points out of those two guys combined. Do you like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think
Victor is playing Germany.
Yeah, Victor is a more reliable pick in the Olympics from a basketball standpoint.
I'm going with it. Yeah. I'm going more. I'm going more.
Feel better about the Lyles thing. Noah Lyles' personal best in a 200 is 19.3.
Right. Yes.
So he's got room. There's room there.
All right. Here's my lineup. God. The max amount when using it. Oh, come on. Really? It won't let me use 2. Oh, it won't let me use 2.
2 what?
2 discounts because that Victor Wembanyama play is.
It's a sad day, dude. Can't double discount, you know?
That would have been a good one.
Yeah.
That would have been a
That's probably
good
why
one.
they're not letting you do it.
All right. There is NFL preseason tonight.
It's just so exciting.
Drake May, 65.5 passing yards. Nah, I'm fine. Hendon Hooker, 114 passing yards for Day Trois against the New York Football Giants. Nope, we're going back to MLB.
I'm on a cold streak with MLB. I need to turn this around a little bit.
I'm going hits, runs, RBIs in MLB. And I think, where is Yoenis Cespedes? He no longer plays baseball.
I was going to say, isn't he in the Mexican League now?
Yeah, he's somewhere not playing baseball. Boy, this is a tough one today. There's a lot of good pitching matchups. Arenado, 1.5 against Tampa.
Telling you, stay in the NL. Stay in the NL. Go with the Dodgers. Go with the Phillies. Go,
Aaron Judge, 9.5 hitter fantasy points. No? You don't like that?
I mean, I don't know the hitter fantasy point system well enough to know.
All right, I'll go Kyle Schwarber, 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs.
There you go.
We'll go a $25 Flexi Rexy.
25 to win what? 80?
25 to win 56-25.
There you go.
So
nice.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Nice.
All right, hour number 2 of the Monty Show. Let's get into this Utah Jazz thing because this is wild. And I usually do not talk about things like this. So Lauri Markkanen got paid yesterday.
Right.
Lauri Markkanen got paid yesterday. Not surprising, right? Like, not surprising at all. Jazz had the cap space saved. They're fine.
Yeah.
They have $10.4 million. It's a huge contract. They upped his current year salary to $42.1 million. Told you that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Not really surprising.
Not surprising at all. Going through the day, the phone rings yesterday. Somebody we talked to around the Utah Jazz calls me and just gets into me about Lauri Markkanen. And talks about how the Salt Lake Tribune published a story because I mispronounce Lauri and I don't say Lauri Markkanen. The proper pronunciation is Lauri Markkanen. It's proper pronunciation. Great. You listen to the level. The folks at the Jazz listen to the level on this show that they're calling me, talking about the fact that the Utah Jazz and the Salt Lake Tribune wrote a story directly pointed at me, to which I say, you guys really have to get a life. If here on the Marty Show,
the show that sucks, that's terrible.
Nobody in Salt Lake listens, even though we have by far the largest listenership in Salt Lake City of any sports talk show. And just gets into me about, all that it's personal with Ryan Smith in this show. It's not personal. It's not. Talking to me about what I said about Abravanel Hall yesterday. Abravanel Hall is essentially the home of the Utah Symphony Orchestra, who I happen to support. I was just there on Tuesday night. Great show. Ryan Smith, if he had his way, would remove Abravanel Hall. Thankfully, municipalities are fighting him on that. The city of Salt Lake and the county are fighting him on that. So you're going to remove one of the most important fine arts venues in this state, Abravanel Hall. On taxpayer money, you're going to use to do that. And then you're going to get upset when I say, hey, you're going to remove Abravanel Hall. Like, this is the stuff that's wild to me.
Yeah.
We were absolutely correct on Lauri Markkanen. Without a doubt. We got that story 100% correct, and we got it before anybody else. Awesome for us. It's wild to me that the Jazz and the Salt Lake Tribune listened to the show so much that they allegedly pointed a pronunciation guide at us in the paper yesterday. I didn't read it. I largely think the coverage of the Jazz by the Salt Lake Tribune is terrible. I think, and we talked about this as well, that Ryan Smith controls the media in this town. You don't question Ryan Smith because stuff like this happens. They want to get into you. They try to intimidate you. And it's wild to me that this is the level you go to. You tried to take a victory lap by telling us how much you listen to the show and that the Salt Lake Tribune published a pronunciation guide pointed at us. Okay, cool. I'm thrilled. Congratulations to us.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That is amazing. And for all the hyenas who are like, oh man, nobody listens to your show. Well, apparently Ryan Smith and the Jazz do. Apparently the people at the Salt Lake Tribune do. Apparently a lot of people do.
We didn't ask to be called.
Our largest market is by far the state of Utah, and our largest city is Salt Lake City, followed by South Jordan, West Jordan, and Sandy. It's not a secret. We have a huge listenership in the state of Utah, and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Utah Jazz, for listening to the show. Thank you, Salt Lake Tribune, for publishing content based on what we say. We appreciate that. It's very flattering. Very flattering that you do so. And I love it. The best part about this is we got it right on Lauri Markkanen. And if you want me to go out of the way to say his name right, I say Lauri Markkanen. Lauri Markkanen. Lauri Markkanen.
And I love that it's like it's the only thing that you can pick on. Like we get called, and the first thing you want to bitch about is how we say dude's name, as if it's like I would understand if we were saying all the wrong stuff and like we hadn't been accurate and like our reporting's terrible and but I just am surprised that we get calls, and this isn't the first time this has happened in the life of the show. I mean, this
not
has
the first time at all.
This has happened multiple times. Like, this is not new. It's not even. I'm not even upset by it. I actually think it's funny, and I actually think that the idea that the strategy to I don't even know what your strategy is, to be honest with you, dude. But the idea that you thought it was a good idea to call my guy here and I guess, like, as I would call it, play bully ball. Like, try to say, you don't even know how to pronounce dude's name. Your show sucks. Like, you guys are like, you're just like spewing negativity. And it's like, bro, the numbers literally say, like, I don't know how many people know. You can go on the internet.
Interwebs.
The interwebs. Sorry, I want to make sure I pronounce it right. You can do that and get the listenership numbers for pretty much any radio station you want to look at. Like, you can get them. You can get a pretty good idea of how many folks listen. It may not be specific to like the very day you're looking, but you can get a pretty general idea of like what you're looking at. Dude, it's not even a conversation. It's not even close, bro. And the reason it's not close, and this is what folks at the Jazz and other professional sporting organizations don't understand. The radio is limiting you. I don't care who you are, where you live. The local radio station does not reach as many people as YouTube does, as the cell phone does. I'm sorry. I know that's upsetting. I know that that's not what you want to hear, but it's the truth. Why do you think that we're seeing this wave of guys like Jim Rome going to the digital realm? Dude, Jim Rome yesterday on his show said that now that he's on X, he's now on TikTok, he's now on YouTube. They're putting out YouTube content with regularity. Instagram. Like, this dude is expanding into the digital space, into the cell phone world. And you want to call us and you want to question whether our listenership's bigger than other folks. And you want to then say that you don't listen to the show, but then you want to prove the point you do listen to the show so much that you're trying to correct us on how we say someone's name. Like, I don't understand the strategy. This is what I don't get. I would be fine if you called us and were complaining about something specific that was actually like wrong. I got news for you. Lauri versus Lauri may be the wrong pronunciation, but that is the only thing that we may misstep on occasionally. Like, we got the contract terms right. We told you that the Warriors were unwilling to trade Kuminga in pods. We told you that Danny Ainge was being very stubborn, asking for the moon, and that the deal was only ever probably 50% likely to close. Like,
so the question I have is, if the Utah Jazz are serious about winning, who are you going to go and get now that's a veteran to build around Lauri Markkanen, John Collins, Colin Sexton? Who are you going to plug in there? And the answer is you're not, because you're not going to go and spend money. And you're going to say, well, we have this youth movement and we got to play the young guys, and you're not going to win. This was not a move. And I think it's hysterical that people are like, oh, Danny's got a secret plan just because you don't know it. There are no secret plans in the NBA. You're either rebuilding or you are competing for a championship. That's the reality of today's NBA. And when you fail in the draft as much as the Jazz have, when you repeatedly refuse to pay players, and now you've paid Lauri Markkanen, essentially you've given him a $200+ million deal. What are you going to get in return for that? And will Lauri Markkanen be on this roster when this contract expires? Because don't forget, he loves Utah. He wants to be here. His family likes being here, and you guys love him so much. Okay, great. Great. Will he be here when this contract expires? My guess is he will not. So I love the guy. I am a fan of Lauri Markkanen. I think he's a fantastic player. I did a show in Sacramento the other day where I was telling them it's a fantastic player.
Yeah.
This guy's never played a game of consequence in his career. Do you understand that? That this guy has never played a game where a championship was on the line. This guy's never played a game where he was the best player and counted on to do that thing in that moment to win or lose at the highest levels of basketball. He's never been in that situation, and you just paid him like he has. So now you better put him in that situation, but you can't, because you won't spend money because of your investment in the NHL. You won't spend money because of the money you have to outlay on your arena and on acquiring the NHL and on the downtown renovation. And the biggest complaint is, you say you're a billionaire, Ryan Smith. but you don't act like a billionaire. You don't. Are you Steve Ballmer? You're not. Okay, maybe you don't have the billions that Steve Ballmer has. Are you the Cronkies? Okay, maybe you don't have the money the Cronkies have. But please stop selling me a bill of goods that you somehow love downtown Salt Lake and you want to be part of what's right after you tried to move this team to Draper.
Which I feel like people just forgot.
And then essentially what you did is you threatened to leave downtown Salt Lake and leverage them giving you taxpayer money without a ballot initiative. And then you wanted to eliminate Abravanel Hall. And I have no idea what people were thinking, giving you access to that block of land downtown, because the arts matter. I know you don't think that apparently, but the arts matter. It's wild to me.
And then you want to say that we're making it personal, which that assertion, I just feel like couldn't be more untrue. Like, we go out of our way every time we talk Jazz. And I feel like if you've been listening to the show, you would agree with this. Every single time we talk Jazz, I go out of my way to say, I'm sure Ryan's a good dude. This is not about trying to make it out like Ryan's a terrible human being, because he's not.
He's not. We don't call him names. We don't, I don't know Ryan Smith personally, but I judge people based on their actions. He's not accountable. He does not do local radio. He does not do interviews. There is no level of accountability. He did not put this on a ballot because he didn't want to be held accountable. Ryan Smith has been handed everything and has never been held accountable for it. Never, not one time has he been asked, why does he need a taxpayer handout? You're a billionaire, sir. Why do you need a taxpayer handout? Why do you not value spaces for the arts like Abravanel Hall? Why do you not believe that you should have oversight of the public? He doesn't want to answer those questions. So what does he do? He goes on the Pat McAfee show. He doesn't. Do you see him going on any show that will question him? When has the Salt Lake Tribune ever questioned him? When is the sports radio station he owns and the church operates, when have they ever questioned him? When is ESPN 700, the local non-church affiliated station, when have they ever questioned him? Never. And they're not gonna, because he has leverage over them. That's why you don't hear them questioning what is the direction of this franchise. When are we going to hold the Jazz accountable for being terrible in the draft? For being terrible at developing players? Like, what do we get out of Cody Williams this year? What do we get out of Taylor Hendricks this year? You already told us that Keontae George is not a number one point guard. Okay, who's your number one point guard then? Because it can't be Jordan Clarkson. When is somebody going to ask, at what point do you fall on the sword and admit that you made a mistake with Jordan Clarkson? Because he has zero trade value. Yeah, everybody was pissed when we said, hey, it was shocking to the NBA when he opted into his contract and then you signed him to an extension. And everybody said it was a mistake, but every Jazz fan was like, you don't know shit, Monty. Okay, well, where are you at now? Where are you at now when he has no trade value? What are you doing with Walker Kessler? All questions you don't want to answer.
What happened to a guy like Jared Butler, an NCAA championship caliber point guard that you drafted, who washed out of your organization because you said that he wasn't his willingness to work hard? Like, allegedly, the story goes that Jared Butler showed up to camp out of shape,
which I would agree with.
So, okay. So you're saying that this dude thought it was okay to show up to your camp out of shape. So, okay, you can make a reasonable argument. Hey, that's on Jared Butler. You could also, if you wanted to be a red ass about it, say that, hey, well, maybe some of that's on the Jazz because, hey, maybe the expectation wasn't set properly. You know, most of it's on Jared, some of it's on the Jazz. But that's another guy I point to, like, that dude, like, just disappeared off the face of the earth. Like, you never hear anybody talking about Jared Butler. And so then I start going down these draft picks, and it's very storied. We're not the only ones saying it. We don't need to go, digging through like 20 years of Jazz draft picks to tell you that, hey, the draft hasn't worked out for the Jazz. They've missed multiple star players. Devin Booker's one of the frontline guys. Like,
you drafted Taylor Hendricks and Keontae George when you could have drafted Derek Lively, when you could have drafted down the board, and this one's going to be a kick in the cock, freely admit it. Brandon Pajemski went to Golden State at 19. Could have had you could have had Cam Whitmore.
But here's the question. With that being true, let's say that they had drafted Pajemski.
Mm-hmm.
Would Pajemski be Pajemski if they had drafted him instead of the Warriors?
I don't believe that he would. I don't believe he would.
It begs the question. When you look at these drafts where they could have gotten this guy where they select Key here and guys after Key got drafted. Like, what is Keontae George going to become? Somebody that I follow as someone who follows the Jazz, a case study, if you will. I'm watching and I'm following Ochai Agbaji's development with the Raptors. Played Summer League this year, looked more mature, looked more ready, doing his thing. If that guy turns into a 3-and-D wing that maybe isn't like the best player on your team, but certainly is like the up the alley of like an Andre Iguodala style player where you don't need him to do a lot. You need him to simply play defense on the other team's best player and then knock down the corner three once in a while. If he turns into that, I'm going to ask you, hey, why did you not keep him? Why would you not keep a guy like that? Because I look at the roster now and I say, wow, like you just signed a max contract to Lauri Markkanen, and you don't have a 3-point shooter on this team. You don't have a guy that's a knockdown 37% plus 3-point shooter. So I'm just telling you guys, this isn't personal with Ryan Smith.
No.
And the next time you want to call us and say that it is, you're the one that's going to look silly, because we've gone on the record multiple times, like every time, and said it's not about Ryan as a dude. It's about his actions. We're taking him at his actions. We're taking it at face value. And the roster speaks for itself. And we're not the only ones wondering, what is the direction of this organization? Because I don't know what it is. I think the best question today, after Lauri signed this deal, is, okay, so you've got your star player now. Your alleged star player. What's next?
But I even go to, if you go back to 2020 with Doak and Saban Lee, and they traded the rights to Saban Lee. They drafted Udoka Azubuike. And I think that draft was a huge miss. A huge miss. And I say to people, well, you drafted Udoka Azubuike before Jaden McDaniels, before Desmond Bane. Like guys that, and I understand low end of the first round, but those guys have turned into solid contributors.
How is it that other playoff teams or other teams of consequence in this league identify these guys and you don't identify them? Because that's what we're really talking about here. We're talking about, hey,
correct,
your process of looking at the draft and scouting pre-draft and understanding, hey, this is somebody who right now with their college skill set, what they've shown us, we can take that guy and transform him into either a 6'7" guy coming off the bench or a starter. And that's the issue right now, I feel like, is that like Cody Williams might be the most perfect example of this conversation. Here's what I love about Cody Williams. He's explosive. He's got a great first step. He's phenomenal in transition. His frame allows him to fly high when he wants to, and his length will allow him to be a good defender should he be developed.
He should be a plus defender.
Yes.
There's no doubt about that.
And when you look at him, obviously the jump shot is the first thing everybody goes to. And the question is, hey, you've got Markkanen. Can you develop Cody Williams into all-star level player? Might be aggressive, but into a starting 5 contributor that can give you
a top 7 guy on a championship roster. Can Cody Williams project to that?
I don't know.
Because you're not somebody like, again, I think another great example, 2018. The Jazz draft Grayson Allen, 21st pick. In front of Anthony Simons, Moritz Wagner, Robert Williams III, like guys who have turned into legitimate play, like Jalen Brunson drafted 33rd in that draft. Like guys that Mitchell Robinson, Gary Trent Jr., you got nothing out of Grayson Allen. And I understand you wound up moving him and you got nothing out of him. And what did you turn Grayson Allen into? You turned Grayson Allen into Mike Conley, right? He was part of that deal. That was Jay Crowder, Kyle Korver, Darius Balsley. And you turned that into Mike Conley. Okay, Mike Conley was huge contributor here, really good Jazz man.
Great run.
Part of your best teams in recent memory. But again, I just ask you, you had opportunities to draft guys. And the guys you've drafted have been a complete bust. So here nor there. There endeth the lesson. I just think it is spectacularly interesting to me that you guys pay this much attention. And I tell you every day, I have a love-hate relationship with this show. I truly do. I hate getting up at 4 a.m. But sometimes you need a reminder of why you do the show. This is why we do the show. Because when the Utah Jazz are telling you, and this particular person I talked to yesterday wants to know who I talked to on the regular at the Jazz, wants to know how we're getting our information.
Which is obviously a confirmation that we've been accurate and we've been right.
And we're not telling you who we talked to. And I always love the guy that's like, oh my God, tell me who you're, fuck off. Yeah. That's it. My source is fuck off. That's who my source is.
Yeah.
So there you go. All right. I want to talk about this Taylor Swift thing. Did you guys hear about this? I mean, this is Swifties we're talking about now.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift has a concert scheduled, a concert series scheduled. And you know her Eras tour is massive, right? So 9 days ago, we're all just going about our business, and there's a group of kids taking part in an activity themed after Taylor Swift. And what's really interesting is that it was hit by a terrorist attack. What now I think, where young girls were murdered at an event in the UK themed after Taylor Swift, and 3 girls died at that event. That was last week on July 30th. Man, that's tragic. That is, I just can't believe it. It was a tough day, no doubt about it.
Right.
And we're all sitting here yesterday going through our usual day, right? And then there's a breaking news flash on my phone. Taylor Swift's concerts canceled after ISIS plot narrowly foiled by police. 3 Taylor Swift shows have been canceled on the European leg of her Eras tour after police narrowly thwarted an ISIS plot to attack her concert in Vienna. Swift's sold-out Vienna shows, slated for today, tomorrow, and Saturday, were called off after a terror scare, her Austrian show promoter Barracuda announced. A 19-year-old suspect living at his parents' home in Turnitz, just south of Vienna, was arrested Wednesday morning during a police raid on the house. A second suspect was apprehended yesterday afternoon. The bomb squad found various chemicals and substances potentially being used to make explosives and evacuated the home. All of this confirmed by Taylor Swift and her staff. What in the actual flip is going on with Taylor Swift and terrorism? And I think a lot of people, if you dig into this story a little bit, I do believe, and I know this is going to sound crazy, I think this is an effort to start a war. I think this is an effort to bring violence to America to bring violence to women and to scare the general public, which is what wars are based on. I know. Is that crazy to say that out loud?
I mean, I don't think it's crazy to say it out loud. I think that, when you think about the Cold War and all the tactics used to, going back and forth and that negotiation of power, if you will. Like, this is kind of right up that alley in the sense that you're trying to, kill Taylor Swift, and you're trying to, I would agree, scare the world. You're trying to say, hey, if we can kill Taylor Swift, we can kill anybody, right? I mean, that's essentially the message you're trying to send. And I think, ISIS is obviously, the predominant terror group we have in the world right now. And we hear about them from time to time. We hear, this plot or that plot, or was, something will happen and people immediately ask, was this ISIS or was this some guy in his basement who just was crazy? That's typically what we hear.
Yes.
And I feel like it's interesting that, obviously with her being in Vienna, being in Europe, she's more accessible. And I think that's why you get things like this, these type of attempts, because she is more accessible. But the hard part is, and this is kind of why I really like what I've heard out of Taylor's camp over the years about how she takes care of her staff. She pays her people. She makes sure that there is no skimping on money.
She spends millions on security.
So
millions.
And I think she's smart for that. And so if they had killed Taylor Swift, would it have sent us down a path careening towards war? I'm not sure. It would really be dependent on the reaction, but I do think it wouldn't help things.
Excuse me. But as somebody, I love history. I love American history specifically. I'm not an expert, but when you look at the way that world events happen that have led up to conflicts, I mean, you can go back to Desert Storm, you can go back to 9/11, you look at events around the world right now. Wars are generally retaliatory efforts.
Right.
Hey, this guy did this, so I'm going to go and do that. And if you go back and you look at the history of war, there's almost always a preceding run-up of violence.
Yeah.
Of acts against X. If you hit a Taylor Swift concert, that's an act against Europe, and that's an act against America.
Right.
And if you're ISIS, where are you trying to have that conversation? If you're a terrorist organization right now, well, the Middle East certainly seems to be constantly in conflict, of course. But you look at what's going on around the world. If there was ever a time where I think, the conversations we have around our elections, we've got to secure our country. This conversation about illegal immigration, this is where it matters.
Yes.
Because what did we catch at the Canadian border a month ago now or whatever? We caught 3 terrorists trying to come into the country. What happened in Ohio? A terrorist tried to murder a former president. You look at the activities that are going around, and you look at like that incident. We talked about this with the shooting thing, that this dude is not qualified to do the things he did. And thankfully that bore itself out.
Right.
He was not qualified as the kind of person would have to have those kinds of chemicals and explosives. Hey, that's funny. Didn't they use that almost exact same verbiage on these guys in Europe at the Taylor Swift situation? If you think this stuff is accidental and you don't think it's coincidental, you're crazy, dude. You're crazy. And this Taylor Swift thing, that really stood out to me, because it's not an act against Taylor Swift. You're not like, oh, I hate Taylor Swift, I'm going to go target her.
Yeah.
It's an act against America. It's an act against Europe.
And Taylor Swift is the mechanism.
And I also think the undertone is she's a woman, because we all know where the roots of ISIS are and how they feel about women's freedoms.
Right.
So there's all kinds of stuff. And then you put it on top of 3 young girls were murdered at a Taylor Swift event in the UK by a terrorist. This is not, it's just something to think about. And Mrs. Monty and I talk about this all the time. Like, again, we were contemplating going to Chicago in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
to see Lang Lang and the symphony orchestra there, as well as a couple of Cubs games. Got to be honest with you. We were talking about that driving home the other night, and I was thinking to myself, there's some big events. Like, it makes me nervous. I was nervous at Fenway. We went to Fenway Park 2 weeks ago, now I guess it was, to see Dave Grohl and the Foo Fighters. I thought about it more than once standing, because we actually had great seats. We were on the field at Fenway Park watching a rock show. It was amazing. And it was packed. And it was to the rafters. And I was thinking to myself, and I was watching the Harris Walls event yesterday in Michigan, and it was packed. And I was thinking to myself,
well, I think part of that, though, is that, so the way I look at that kind of thing, like when you go to events and stuff, if that's going to happen to you, the odds of it happening to you are so low. Obviously, you up the odds by going to these events, but I just think that Taylor Swift is on another level than the Foo Fighters. Taylor Swift is the biggest, pop star we have in the world right now. It's not even close.
Yeah.
And I think that you're right. Like, obviously, because she's a woman and it's ISIS, and like there's clear undertones there. But I think what terror groups want from the United States is for the United States to get fully and publicly involved in conflict. Like, if you notice, like with Ukraine as an example, not to get into the politics of Ukraine, but just like the way we behave with it, like we had not moved, carrier strike groups into the region yet. We had not done those things yet. And now recently we've done that, which is another step closer to being publicly engaged with Russia.
Well, and you look at Russia, and I think that move is far more related to Iran and
I'm not saying that
Israel
was related to this Taylor Swift thing, but
no,
yeah.
But it ties into Russia because Russia and Iran have this relationship. And you look at South Korea and North Korea, and you look at North Korea announcing that, 19 new missiles and launchers pointed at South Korea on the border. Like, we're moving in the wrong direction. And then you get a 19-year-old in Vienna with ties to ISIS allegedly trying to blow up Taylor Swift concerts.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like, and if you go, and I would encourage you to go read the story on the Taylor Swift thing. If you go and read the details of this 19-year-old and this other suspect that they arrested, it's scary. Because you look at this, and the pair were allegedly targeting Swift's concerts at Vienna's Ernst Happel Stadium. The suspects were focused on Taylor Swift concerts. We discovered that he was taking action to prepare for an attack. Austrian Director General of Public Safety Franz Ruff said a clear threat was averted. The 19-year-old suspect, an Austrian national, is believed to have pledged his allegiance to ISIS in July. He and the other suspect are believed to have become radicalized online. That is terrifying.
So, yeah, it's just one of those deals where I think that it's worth your time to keep a pulse on world happenings as far as these type of world happenings are concerned, because again, I'm just telling you, at some point we will become full-fledged involved in another conflict. It will happen.
And I think people like to put terrorists in a box, right? It's a 19-year-old Austrian. Their reach is significant. And it is to me, again, you look at the conflicts around the world, and I understand that the Middle East, Israel, Palestine, like all that stuff, you guys, they've been fighting for lifetimes.
Yeah.
It's never stopped. You look at Lebanon, you look at Syria, you look at Iran, you look at Israel and Iran.
There's always going to be relations there, man.
It scares me to the point that the result of those things is fear, intimidation. It is all Muslims are terrorists. Well, this was a 19-year-old Austrian. That does not automatically mean that he is Muslim. We don't know at this point what his faith or belief is.
Yeah.
He's a 19-year-old Austrian kid that was radicalized over the internet. So monitor what your kids are doing online. Monitor who they're talking to in their messages. Monitor who they are interacting with on a regular basis. And I'm telling you, we have to, at some point, bring our focus to what is really a threat to our country. And I think you look at the messaging coming out of these campaigns. Which of these, and the answer is probably none, but which of them are going to protect your front door? And I think the answer is none. That's up to you. That is up to you to do that. And it's just this event yesterday, there's so many stories and there's so many talking points from a 19-year-old kid from Vienna who was turned by ISIS and was en route, allegedly, to commit terrorist attacks against Taylor Swift fans for the second time in less than a month.
Yeah.
That's scary to me. That is really, really scary to me. Taylor is no Franz Ferdinand, but she will do. Franz Ferdinand. Wow. Mike Chase. Mikkel, my friend, how are you? The Jazz are frustrating. I want the Jazz to win, but don't see any movement towards that because there isn't movement towards that. Yeah. Mike Smith, Dave Grohl's screaming vocals during Monkey Wrench would have destroyed any possible explosive. I believe that's true.
Yeah.
That level there, Willie Wilson, hello. Good to see you, man. Where you been? Congratulations to BYU former running back Kenneth Rooks. An Olympian, for winning the silver medal. Oh, he did medal in the steeplechase. He did. I saw that on Twitter the other day that he was in the running. 3,000-meter steeplechase at the Paris Olympics with 1 hour, please. RJC man says we're screwing this story up. It was a 19-year-old, not a Muslim. Did I not just say that?
Literally,
chapter and
again,
verse.
see, this is.
I literally just said that. Thanks. Go back to anonymity. See, I try to give you a chance. And if SMU beats Florida State on September 28th, you will admit I was right about Preston Stone.
Right, but they're not going to beat Florida State.
The jokes are funny, but I saw him play in person. He's legit. If they beat Florida State, we're not going to be talking about Preston Stone.
Yeah.
There will be much bigger problems.
Florida State.
There will be much bigger problems because the preseason polling on Florida State has been very, very interesting. You look at the coaches poll. Anybody notice Florida State at 10 there?
Which is fair, I think.
SMU's at number 1, though, right? They're not. But anyway, so I thought that was I thought that story on Taylor Swift was very interesting.
Yeah.
Talk to your kids about this stuff, people. Please, I'm begging you. Get your children involved in politics. Talk to them. Don't give them their opinion. Let them form an opinion with information. Tell them what's happening. Tell them where it's happening. Tell them how it's happening. Show them, hey, read this story, little Jimmy, from the New York Post and the Washington Post. 2 papers on different sides of the line. Explain to them why you're having them read 2 different stories on the same incident. Inform your kids. Get them involved. Educate them. They're not getting educated in schools. You need to educate them. As much as you need to teach them about credit card debt and how to use credit cards to their advantage, you need to talk to them about world news events.
Yeah.
Especially when it involves their idols like Taylor Swift. You got to talk about this stuff with your kids. It's really, really important. And you got to tell them, stay out of the Arizona Cardinals concession stands. Did you guys see this thing?
Bro, what are we doing? Like,
this is called a cotton candy burrito, and it is disgusting. Who's going to eat this? This is pure sugar. I want you guys to understand that. This is one of the newest items from the Arizona Cardinals. And Jake, you're a fecal matter off the roller guy?
Right. And a chicken burrito guy.
Would you even consider this?
I would not. This is I understand that people like
wouldn't
sugar.
Even consider it.
I would not. It sounds disgusting to me. Like the amount of I don't even know everything that's in it. I see some M&Ms, I see some Fruit Loops, But
you guys understand that burrito shell is not a tortilla.
It's cotton candy, bro.
Do you know? I mean, I'm not even kidding. Do you know how much damage that will do to you? M&Ms, Fruit Loops,
Sprinkles,
Fruity Pebbles, sprinkles, wrapped in cotton candy.
Like, I'm just not interested in eating that, bro. Like, I'm not interested in doing that to myself. Like, that is gnarly, man.
No.
Like, it doesn't, like, even the middle of it doesn't even look good.
It's disgusting.
Like, it literally is disgusting.
It is disgusting. And if that were not bad enough, here are some of their other items. A loaded baked potato with burnt ends. That looks actually good. A hot Cheeto big elote, which is corn wrapped. An elote is corn crusted in flaming hot Cheetos. A spicy tuna poke bowl. That actually looks good. I'm not a poke guy. Oh my God, birria sandwich, which is basically just a Philly cheesesteak with jalapenos. Okay. 3 taco combo. Okay, I'm here for it. Elote walking tacos, which is basically just really hot nachos.
Yeah.
Walking tacos. And this fried mac and cheese looks absolutely horrendous. It's terrible. Like their whole menu it's disgusting. The whole thing.
What is that?
That is a summer roll. Jake doesn't like Chinese food, so it's a spring roll and it looks awesome. Go find the pictures online.
Yeah, I'm good, dude.
I think you'll like them quite a bit. Our number 2 of the Monty Show, of course, is always sponsored by our friends at Canyons Golf. Working on that backswing last night out in the $1 million golf pit in my backyard. Can't wait to get to Canyons this weekend. Always love playing resort style golf at Park City Mountain Resort, Canyons Golf. That's right. Canyons Golf is cut into Park City Mountain Resort in Park City. It's spectacular. And last week I had one of the best rounds I've had up there. And the third hole is this big, long drive against a mountain. And I actually overhit the back end of the fairway. But you can stand there and you watch the ball fly, and it's just awesome. It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. It's one of the things I love about Canyons Golf. When you stand up on the tee boxes and you hit a bomb and you can watch the ball fly. Ooh, the par 3s. Almost had a hole-in-one last weekend on a par 3 there. So close. It'll never happen. A friend of mine got a hole-in-one and just is wrenching my nuts over it. You're never going to get one, fatty.
I'm better than you, Marty.
You're never going to get one. He gets a hole-in-run in a round that he shot 104 on.
Bro, you're shooting 104.
You got a hole-in-one, and you still shot 104.
Dude.
Now, the course is really difficult, and I totally get it. The course he played on, something national course in New York, like really difficult course. But he says and the worst part is, I posted a video last weekend of me drawing a pitching wedge into a par 3 for a birdie, and it was amazing. And he's like, I took your advice. It was 160 something yards. And he took a pitching wedge, hit a draw. The ball landed 150. He says, I think he's 150 something yards. I don't remember, on the green, and then rolled right down a slope into the hole. And I'm never going to hear the end of it until I get a hole-in-one.
Yeah.
Now, the good news is, like last weekend, I shot an 80 straight up, which is great. For me, shooting 80 at Canyons is fantastic. The good news for me, generally, I shoot in the low 80s. That's what my round of golf usually is.
Yeah.
Like Friday nights, I generally shoot in the low to mid 30s at Glenmore. I think I'm probably in the low 70s for 18 on that course. But Canyons is Canyons is longer. Canyons, you have to drive the ball much more effectively. So generally I shoot in the middle. If I'm under 85 there, I'm thrilled.
Right.
I'm thrilled. I also putted really well last weekend. I love playing at Canyons Golf. It is fantastic. It is our home for golf here on the Monty Show. Darren Ingram, the teaching professional, the director of golf at Canyons Golf. If you need a golf lesson, reach out to Darren Ingram on Instagram. He does virtual golf lessons. You can send him videos. He'll send you critiques, all that stuff. It's great. Darren's a fantastic teacher. He's really helped me. And he operates a fantastic golf course, a golf resort, because the thing I love about Canyons is go play 18 holes and then go have a world-class dining experience. It is a great place to do a staycation. Spend a weekend up at Park City Mountain Resort. Stay in any of their fantastic hotels and luxury accommodations. Stay overnight. Play around on. Generally, what I love to do up there is go play some golf on Friday night. Wake up, play 18 on Saturday. Wake up, play 18 on Sunday, and go home. It's a great staycation, and you get world-class dining. You get world-class views. They have a great concert series up at Canyons Village. It's fantastic. Park City Mountain Resort is where you find Canyons Golf, the official golf course of the Monty Show. James, dude that abides is spot on. That burrito is a result of a kid who was denied candy and then grew up. I agree with that.
Yeah.
No Quick Trip in my area, but I would get some at Sheets. Okay. Mike, you can get pickles at Quick Trip. I often do ketchup, mustard, and pickles on. Your soul is dead. Honest, what do you do? What now?
Bruh.
I like my hot dog with pickles, not pickle relish.
Well, James is the hot dog expert.
One of the
show.
most disappointing things about not going to Chicago is not getting Superdog. Oh, Superdog in Chicago.
Phenomenal.
SUP. Go look them up on Instagram. SUPERDAWG. Superdog. You get a Superdog packed in crinkle cut French fries, green tomatoes on top.
Yeah.
Amazing. Best Chicago dog you're ever going to have. Brady Cook, what golf ball do you guys hit? Generally, I've kind of become partial. I refuse to pay $50 a dozen.
Yeah.
Not doing it. I generally play the Kirkland golf ball. I think it is next to the PXG ball. I think the PXG ball is the best ball in golf. If you have not hit PXG golf balls yet,
rocket ship, dude.
But I am partial to the Kirkland golf ball. I hit the yellow Kirkland golf ball, or I play noodle. I hit those two balls really well. And the thing that matters to me is I don't necessarily need to manufacture distance off the tee, because I'm generally my bad drives now are 270. My good drives are 300, 310, depending on what the slope is, how much rollout I get. I generally am playing a lot more short iron wedges into the green. I very rarely am hitting, like last Friday night, I hit a 5-iron about 240 yards into 230 yards into a green, because I shanked a drive right. I hit that drive, you guys, 210 yards. And then pulled out a 5-iron and absolutely flipping crushed that ball. That was a noodle. And the best part about noodle, get on Amazon. If you don't buy your golf balls on Amazon, you're dumb. Get on Amazon, look for noodle golf ball. It's $18 for 15 balls.
It's pretty good, dude.
Get to Costco.com. You can only, at your local Costco, you can only get the white Costco ball, which is fine. I like the yellow one, so I order it online at Costco.com. $27 for 24 balls. Tough to beat. Tough to beat that. So I'm telling you, if you're paying $50 for Pro V1s, are not worth it.
Nope.
And the best part about the noodle, and this is why I play the Kirkland in the noodle, because off the wedge, it's fantastic. I have ball control. I can land the ball. I've learned now bump and run with a 7-iron that is really working for me right now. Like, I'm telling you, man, The golf ball matters around the green. Every golf ball is going to fly pretty much. It matters around the green.
By the way, breaking news. The White Sox finally fired their manager.
Yeah, I saw that. They lost 21 of 22. They finally win a game, and they fired their manager after they win a game.
Nice job, guys. Great season.
Amy S., any hot dog with mustard, pickle slice, and cheese? Ooh, I'm not a cheese on hot dog guy. Give me a hot dog, ketchup, onion, relish, tomato. Done. If you got some salt on top of there, celery salt.
Yeah.
Now we're cooking with gas. I haven't had a hot dog in so long. Maybe it's been too long. LFG USA volleyball gold medal. Nice. I'm into the Olympics. Last one today. Hot dog with green tomatoes sounds good. I love fried green tomatoes. Super Dog. DAWG.
Do it,
Super
dude.
Dog in Chicago.
Do it.
That's the way to go. The Monty Show is always presented by our good friends at The Advocates, theadvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business. Chat with an injury attorney live online 24/7, 365. Car accidents, dude, all of these big rig semi-truck accidents. Please give motorcycle and cyclists, road bike people a lot of room. Seen far too many of those in the canyon this summer. And I had a great drive up and down Big Cottonwood Canyon last weekend. Yeah, that's all going away because they're going to close the mouth of the canyon for construction. One more run to Empire Pass this weekend, I guess. Be well. Don't be stupid. Have a good day. Until Monday, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.